Hey guys, it's Jonathan here. And 2020 has been a crazy year. There's been some crazy stories and experiences that I'm sure we've all shared. And I'm really excited to be announcing this new interview video series that I've launched, sitting down with everyday people, hearing about their stories and experiences they've had in 2020. We've had a global pandemic, we've had a recession now, and there's been some crazy things happening. We're talking to people about industry, about mental health, about faith aspects, and about all the things that are going on in people's lives right now. And I'm really excited today to be sitting down with a great mate of mine. His name's Nick. He's had over 6 years experience in the IT industry, and he's got a lot of insight and knowledge about all that's been happening this year for him and in his industry, which is the IT industry. He's a developer, and he's also started a new job this year. So not only a new job, but a global pandemic to deal with, and a whole lot of mental health stuff as well that he's had to manage and work through this year. So I look forward to this, guys. I hope you enjoy it, and check it out. Hey Nick, thanks for joining me, mate. My first guest on this series. Absolute pleasure to have you on board, mate. Um, hey, look, 2020 has been an interesting year for all of us, but for you mostly, actually, it's been quite an interesting year. You started a new job. You've had some IT experience, 6 years in industry, as we heard at the start. But yeah, new job and then a global pandemic. How's it been?
Yeah, it's been a pretty interesting ride. I was sort of transitioning from a job that I knew how to do very well into something that was new and a sort of a learning experience and a side grade. So it's been quite interesting figuring out how to do this new job as well as figuring out how to cope with all of the other changes that we've had and the changes in communication with my team and life routine and rhythm and all those other things. So it's been pretty interesting.
Yeah, I can imagine. And so was I'm assuming you were going to the office before you went into lockdown. Was the office nearby? Was it in the city? What was your journey like as well? Because that I feel like now that we're not traveling as well with lockdown and not going into the office, um, it's kind of add this weird extra time that we didn't know what to do with. So has that been a challenge for you?
Um, the challenge was losing the routine of needing to get up at a certain time to get on the
Yeah.
to get a car park at the station to get on the train to get to the office. But yeah, I was spending like 3 hours every day getting to and from work
Mm,
um, before the pandemic. So now I've got all of that time back, but I've not got a hard reason to get up at a certain time in the morning. I've not got the routine
mm,
to necessarily make the best use of all of that without
yeah.
figuring out how to do it on my own, sort of thing.
Yeah, I can imagine that. And I don't know about you, when I've started new jobs in the past, I've really valued mentorship in those roles and one-on-one connection with people who've gone before me. Um, has that been hard? Because I know you've got Zoom, you can connect with anyone at any time, but have you found that a bit of a challenge um, in a new role? And yes, you've got heaps of experience in the industry, so it's not like you didn't know what to do, I'm assuming, but it's more about that mentorship and that guidance. Did you struggle with not having that face-to-face interaction?
Yeah, definitely. There's like it's one thing to just poke the person who's sitting next to you or on the desk over and ask them a quick question. It's
Yeah,
another thing to, reach out and have a video call and share screens and like the technology's made it extremely easy, but sort of that social mental barrier of actually deciding that you're gonna and like you can schedule calls and stuff, but then it's like another thing again. It's not just,
yeah, mm,
a really quick, easy comment. And yeah, like the mentorship is a huge thing that I have sort of been missing as well because it's a new company. So not only is it a new style of work, it's all new,
yeah,
everything else that goes along with it.
yeah, yeah. It's a startup, I'm assuming. So you've got, the fact that the people in the organisation are working out how things work, plus new staff. It'll be a complete mess. I guess then, all right. So you've spoken about that lack of mentorship and that lack of interaction kind of playing a part. How's your mental health been then? Because this year has been an absolute, it's like a wrecking ball on all our mental health, really. It's just been so hard um, to be living on our, especially for those living on their own. That'd be even harder, I'd assume. But um, I mean, you're living at home with family and you've got a lot of things going on. But I wonder, how have you coped with all of this? How's your mental health been?
Mm. It took a pretty serious hit. Before this all happened, I was, sort of figuring out what I wanted my life to look like and what I wanted to to do with my time, and I had a schedule that was deliberately filled to an extent with gym and social
Mm.
activities and relaxing time and all those sorts of things. And all of that just got cancelled and shut down and um, disappeared basically. And then you've got all of this time to just sort of sit and wallow and think about what you miss.
Yeah.
And like if you've lost your routine as well, it's like, yeah, you could work out today, or you could work out tomorrow, or you could work out next week, and it just never
Mm.
ends up happening. Um, so it's definitely been an interesting time to sort of get through and find alternatives and find ways that you can get some of that back into your life in a different way than what you had and sort of lost.
Mm. Yeah, I like the idea of routine. I might touch on that now. So for me, I found that putting things off is. I already did that before, so I was a procrastinator, times a million before COVID-19. Now I'm majorly a procrastinator. I leave things for, pardon me, for days and days and days on end. The other day, for example, I was looking to put I need to put some stuff in the bin. Like the bin bags was there, and I knew the bins have to go out on a Sunday afternoon. And I just was staring at the bin bags tied up and going, I just have to carry it outside. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. And then, of course, what happens? Sunday night, it's 10 p.m. I go, I haven't done the bins. And I've got to quickly check out the bin. So it's like I guess, we give ourselves permission in this time, I guess, to sit back and kind of go, oh, it's all right. I'll relax for a bit. But one thing I know that we've done together is we've scheduled a weekly call. Every week on a Monday afternoon, we will catch up and we'll have a call, and that's a routine. We know that that's in the diary. It's at 5 p.m. on a Monday. We're going to have a chat. And I know even for me, in my house, we have takeaway night on Friday night. It's set in stone. That's what we're doing. I wonder, have you been able to now form a routine with COVID now that everything's been thrown out the window? Have you been able to try and sort that all out together and have some pockets of routine, if you can, or if you haven't? Has it been that hard?
Yeah. So like it's definitely a work in progress, and some weeks are better than others. Especially given sometimes it's hard to remember what day of the week it even is. But yeah, like definitely having other people involved, like we've got our phone call scheduled on Monday. It means that it's harder to let it go past because someone's on the other end. It's not just you. You're the only person who makes a decision about it. Yeah, like we've got work schedules sort of established now in terms of when we've got our stand-up calls and check-in calls and that sort of thing. Making a decision to actually set a finish time for my day helped me a lot, because otherwise it was like, I don't feel like I've been productive enough today. I'll just work a bit longer, and then it's 10 o'clock, and then I sabotage my evening by staying up late to try and have the off time that I didn't give myself earlier. And yeah, some weeks I'll be really good with that, and other weeks I'll be like, oh, but this is important, this is different, and then just sort of ruin the rest of the week by falling out of that schedule.
Yeah, I totally understand that. And I find as well, and you probably feel it the most because you work in front of a screen. That is your job, to be working on the screen. Like for me, I just look at a screen, do some emails. I can step away from the screen, do a couple of things, but for you, your life is the screen. So I feel like screen fatigue is probably playing a part too, and I know for all of us it is. But how about for you in the IT industry, for you guys who are behind the screen? Are you feeling screen fatigue, or is it just like any other day?
In some ways, the more things change, the more they stay the same. But I'm finding that I need to consciously make the effort to have away from screen time. Because before, my routine was driving to the train station, getting on the train. There was like a 2 hour and a half block morning and evening when I wasn't on the screen. I was moving around to an extent, walking around. That doesn't happen by itself. So now I've got to choose to replace it with something equivalent. And yeah, all the time sort of sitting as well, not just looking at the screen, but sitting and being inactive has been hard. So one thing I'm really excited about at the moment is spring's come, and I can spend a lot more time out in the garden and walking around in the estate, to make a point to go for a walk every day, to spend a bit of time in the gardening, to get some sunlight every day, which is a lot easier now that we're out of winter as well. So yeah. And yeah, it's like you spend all day working at a screen, and then it's your off time, and you look at another screen, it's like,
Yeah.
sometimes you do it and you end up regretting it.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's great. I think that's really helpful for us. I think remember, guys, to go outside to enjoy this, especially now it's spring. Go for a walk. I've made it my personal mission to try and walk every day. Number one, because my weight's ballooned. So hand up for that. But number two as well, it's good for your brain. It's good for your soul. It's good to get the fresh air and feel the sunlight on your skin and soak it all in. So yeah, that's great, Nick. I love it. I guess my next question from there, it's a good follow up from there. As my computer lights up at me and does something really funny, I'll restart my computer later tonight, so apologies for everyone for that. But we know we're doing it live. We know that we're cruising along. But I guess a question on that is that you and I both share a faith. You and I both share a common ground in a Christian faith. Now, a lot of us watching here probably don't share a faith, and that's okay. We're not here to preach it, and I'm not asking you to give me a sermon per se, but I'd love to know, has your faith played a part in this year in getting you through, or has it not? Has it just been something that's just been it's just been floating around? But I mean, has it played a part in your journey this year?
Mm. It's an interesting question, because in some ways a lot of the routine and rhythm associated with going to church and seeing a group of people has sort of disappeared now that the whole social gathering thing's in question. And you're sort of left with just your thoughts and sort of the raw source material to go on. But in other ways, it's been really beneficial, because it represents this culture, this way of life, this way of thinking about the world and interacting with it, that's old, and has seen so many people through so many different historical contexts through some really tough, trying times. And you can look back at the Spanish flu has been brought up and talked about a lot, because it sort of bears a resemblance to what we're going through, but all sorts of other disasters and trials and forms of suffering that are just part and parcel of being a human and existing on the earth. And sort of having that faith, having that thing that you can go to that says, look, yeah, sometimes things suck and times are really hard. But it helps give you the other side of that equation. Like, you can fall into being depressed and upset and miserable and lamenting what's going on, or you can also have the other side of that, which is looking at the opportunities, looking at how things are changing, that you can take advantage of or that are beneficial. And even if you can't figure out how it's any better, at least it gives you a bit of hope that it could be better. It gives you something to look forward to. It gives you something that keeps you running, so that even if things don't end up particularly great, you'll at least be in the mindset to make them as good as they could be, as opposed to falling right to the bottom of as bad as they could be.
No, that's great. I know for you and I, we've got different perspectives on faith too. So, I mean, I've grown up in a Christian household. So for me, faith was always part of my life, or at least talking about it. I know for you, it's a bit of a different journey. And you and I started chatting. Well, we've been friends for probably 10 years or so, but we've been probably very close over the last 3 years, probably getting to know each other more personally, and also through faith, we've been connecting a bit more. So I wonder for you, has faith been a revelation for you? Has it completely changed your life, or has it been something that's formed and developed into what it is today? If that makes sense. Like, where's the journey been for you? Because for a lot of people probably watching, you see a lot of people like myself who have grown up in church. We've always been the goody two shoes, always been that person, always been the Christian kid or part of the Christian family. I wonder for you, has that been a different experience? Have you journeyed different? I'd like to hear how that's been for you, because I'm interested.
Yeah, good. Very different experience. I had a little bit of a run-in with some religious friends in high school, and the thing that always frustrated me most was believe because you've been told to.
Yeah.
And so I'm very wary of that even today. Like, just because someone's preaching to you doesn't mean that they know what they're talking about.
Mm.
Um, but for me, sort of the revelation, what brought me to it was sort of a build up of all of the reasons that the world is an awful place. Like, you can look out at all of the, global warming and slave labor in foreign
Mm.
countries and homeless people in our own country and people
Mm.
suffering through, losing limbs or having weird, horrible things happen to
Mm.
them just on a day-to-day basis in
Yeah.
their own neighborhood. Um, and yeah, that sort of was stacking up so high, and there was nothing sort of to counterbalance it. Um, and one of the things that sort of drew me towards it was this idea that there's a better way to do it. There's a better way to do life. There's things which don't change as much as you think they would
Mm.
when your circumstances change.
Yeah.
And so the foundation of how to live, how to be a good human, how to live with other people, how to get the most out of your own life, and how to have it actually mean something, both for yourself and for the other people around you.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, there was sort of not much I could find that answered those questions, that filled that void, that
Mm.
provided that counterpoint to lift the spirit and lift the hope out of me that
Mm.
the faith could.
That's awesome. No, that's great. And thanks for being raw and honest and sharing that. Knowing too well that there'll be people around us who don't agree with that, and that's okay as well. And I think that's awesome that you've shared that. Look, Nick, it's been a pleasure chatting. It's been a pleasure getting to know your story a bit more. And the point of this series is to get to know people, the everyday people around us, to get to know them better and to understand the stories that are people and the journey that people are having during COVID-19 and through this 2020. Because 2020 feels like it's just been blown out of the water. It feels like we haven't had a year, but the things are happening. People are having stories, experiences, and opportunities. You started a new job. You've coped with the change of that job from being face-to-face to completely online. You've dealt with FaceTime. You've dealt with the change of routine. Your mental health has stabilized through working on yourself and your faith. And we've heard a great story about how your faith has kind of aided you in that process. So thank you so much, Nick. Thank you for sharing. I value who you are and what you add to my life, and I'm hoping that people will enjoy what they've watched now. And so if you really have enjoyed this, guys, please hit the like button. Please also comment maybe some experiences that you've had too, and maybe you completely relate with Nick and you go, that makes sense to me. I really feel what Nick's been through. Or you might go, oh, my journey's been completely different. This is a discussion. We want to open that space. So if you are and you want to have a chat, jump on the comment, jump and message me directly, message Nick directly if you're friends with him on Facebook or on social media, and we'd love to chat with you. So thanks, guys, and thanks, Nick. Really appreciate what you've done.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you.